For the longest time, Jimmy Butler has been rumored to leave the Miami Heat in a trade, and now he's everywhere on the news, and it's for no other reason than his trade to the Golden State Warriors. If you've been following the news, you know his contract is about to expire, and he's set to be a free agent next year. But what are the chances that he would join the Warriors? Let's start with why Jimmy Butler wants to leave the Miami Heat. You can trace it back to the playoffs when Jimmy suffered an ACL injury before the first-round series against the Boston Celtics last season, as the Heat lost 4-1. He criticized the team for their poor performance, saying that they would have won if he was fit, which, while true, was tone-deaf. That tone-deafness fits well with his character of being expressive, funny, and quirky. Sadly, not everyone saw it that way. Pat Riley, president of the Miami Heat, blasted Jimmy during a press conference and told him to shut up.
If you're not on the court playing against Boston or on the court playing against the New York Knicks, you should keep your mouth shut and your criticism of those teams.
That single incident strained the relationship between Jimmy and the team, and now that Butler's contract is coming to an end, the Miami Heat is hesitant to offer him the contract extension he wants, which is 2 years and $110 million. He's been clamoring for this deal for a long time, but Pat Riley made it clear that he will not offer that large a sum of money to a 35-year-old. Riley said, "That's a big decision on our part to commit those kinds of resources unless you have somebody who's going to be there and available every single night." It's hard to argue with a man who has reached 19 finals, and you really can't blame Riley if you consider how Butler's constant injury problems have shortchanged the team. Butler has only played more than 70 games in a season twice in his career, and that was in Chicago. He even missed the entire playoff series last season due to his injuries. However, while the Miami Heat are dragging their feet on Butler's offer, many teams are quite interested in the star. One of them is the Golden State Warriors, who may be the happiest in this situation. But why are the Warriors keen on signing Butler? There's a lot to it, but let's start here. The Golden State Warriors have the money Butler is asking for and will be willing to pay it, especially after the departure of two of their key players. Klay Thompson has taken his talents to the Dallas Mavericks, and Chris Paul, whose contract was yet to expire, moved to the San Antonio Spurs. These two players were guards for the Warriors, and with them leaving the team, their big wages will be off the books, allowing the Dubs to make a move for Jimmy Butler. There's also another factor. The Golden State Warriors have recently paid big wages to a legend. This is important because Miami doesn't want to pay that money because of Jimmy's age. However, Golden State just offered the same contract to another NBA legend who is not getting any younger like Butler. That player is Stephen Curry.
Now to some major sports news. Steph Curry has agreed to stay with the Golden State Warriors. The superstar agreed to a $62 million one-year extension that will carry through the 2026-27 season. He hasn't actually signed the deal yet, but as KRON 4 sports reporter Ben Ross tells us, this is still a major win for both sides.
Yes, Steph Curry recently signed a one-year extension with the Golden State Warriors worth $62 million. And if you do the math, that is around the same money per year that Jimmy Butler is demanding. But NBA godfather Pat is refusing to give. Pat Riley, on the other hand, is more focused on younger talents rather than legendary status, so it's unlikely that Butler will get the money. Pat wants to win championships for the Miami Heat, but doesn't believe that Butler can help in that long-term vision, especially with his history with injuries. While Riley is in for the long haul, the Golden State Warriors have a shorter-term vision as they now seek a new star to pair their golden boy Steph Curry with, and Butler can slide into that role perfectly. Their desperation spiked after trade talks for Paul George and Lauri Markkanen didn't work out. Now, Jimmy Butler will do as Curry's sidekick. Jimmy Butler is still a top basketball player despite his age. He's been a top player for the Miami Heat, and they'll want to keep him around. Butler is a 6-time NBA All-Star and 5-time All-Defensive Player. However, he has never won any championships despite his highly acclaimed career and 2 finals with the Heat. With Steph Curry by his side, the possibility is there for him to get his first ring. Butler, popularly called Playoff Jimmy, a name he got for his impressive playoff performances, might also not be getting a max contract increase because of his laid-back performances in the regular season compared to playoffs. Not to say he doesn't deliver in the regular season, his accomplishments disprove that, but compared to his generational playoff runs, there's some reason why Pat Riley is cautious. As a quick aside, there's another likely possibility, and that is him possibly heading to an Eastern Conference team as the Brooklyn Nets are starting to show some interest in snagging him up. If he doesn't make the more likely move to the Warriors, then the Nets are likely the second-choice team, but why them? The Brooklyn Nets have the money, but they're not on the same level as the Miami Heat or the Golden State Warriors. However, they are well set for the 2025 offseason. They're going to have $50 to $70 million in cap space for the 2025 season, as well as 4 first-round draft picks for that season. This means they have the money to bring in Jimmy Butler. He might seem out of place in their young and rebuilding squad at first glance, but when you realize the Nets could draft Cooper Flagg, getting Butler as a mentor makes a lot of sense. There's also Butler's connection to Bay Simmons, who isn't at his peak anymore like when they were teammates on the 76ers, but is making very ridiculously high money with the Nets right now, and that might be a key player in his decision to make the move. Now, I feel it's high time to explore what would happen in all the alternate scenarios. First of all, what does all of this mean for his current team, the Miami Heat? As we go into next season, the Heat does not seem to be making any plans for a Jimmy Butler replacement, and that could be done by design. Pat Riley has said that Jimmy Butler will not be traded, and while in the NBA business speaks over sentiment, Pat may want to keep him for one more season to see if he's really worth that max contract. After all, this is a man who is experienced in the game. He wouldn't lose sleep over letting Butler go out for free at the end of his contract, so this may be the way out. If he doesn't end up offering the contract to Butler and he leaves, expect the team to be built around the next best player on the team, Bam Adebayo. Adebayo will become the centerpiece of the team. He's only 27 years old and is coming off the back of a fantastic Olympic campaign with Team USA. He's amazing on defense, and it's clear that he'll be the team's leader, ushering in a new era for the Miami Heat. The fans of the Miami Heat, however, love Jimmy Butler. He has an unorthodox style to the game, and his sense of humor connects him to the fans in a way that very few NBA players can relate to. Not to mention that even if it's a big decision only Pat Riley can make, it will be slightly stupid to let a player of that much value depart for nothing. Even if Jimmy does have a fantastic season, as many expect, he might decide to turn down a renewal, saying it might be too late or he may jump on bigger offers at his door. This is the best time for the Miami Heat to seal it. But as said before, his injuries pose a challenge, and that's something for the Warriors to consider. The Golden State Warriors lost 2 big players, halting their extremely ambitious offseason plans. So, if they sign Jimmy Butler, it guarantees them a partner to Steph Curry and Draymond Green, creating a deadly big 3 with young players like Jonathan Kuminga and Brandon Podziemski set to learn from the legends, assuming they don't get traded away. Steph Curry was Team USA's star man at the Olympics this summer, and it's clear that, like Jimmy, he's far from done. This all-star trip can give Jimmy Butler his long-awaited first ring. There's hardly a chance that he passes on this. But where do you think Jimmy Butler will end up? Should the Heat give him the money, or should the Warriors be ready for a trade?